In this video, we'll look into how to configure the AWS in Terraform. So what we'll be doing is like we'll be storing the credential of the AWS in Terraform. So there are different ways in which we can store the credential. We'll look into the ways and we'll look which is the optimal way to store the credentials. So we'll move on to registry.terraform.com. So here under providers AWS documentation, if we scroll down a bit, we'll be able to see the syntax on how to save the credentials for AWS. Let's copy this and let's paste this into our Visual Studio Code. So for the credentials here, we have to create a user in AWS console. So let's go ahead and create a user. We have to go to IAM, users. So within users, we'll try creating a user. So this is the user using which we'll be accessing the AWS platform. Let's name it as Terraform. And there are two different ways in which the user can access. One is the programmatic access through applications, and one is the direct login, like how we have logged in using the username and password. So right now we just need the access keys and secret keys using which we'll be accessing from Terraform. So we'll have admin access over here. Ideally in AWS, it's best to provide the least privilege. So whatever we need to create, we have to provide that specific access. But let's go ahead and create administrator access just for time's sake. Yeah. So we have created the user. This would be the access key and this would be the secret key. I would suggest you to download the CSV because once we navigate out of this page, we won't be able to access the secret key again. So let's copy this access key and paste it over here. Let's have the secret key. Let's paste it over here. So this is one way of creating the credential. Let's try to create a VM using this setup. So we'll move back to the Terraform registry portal again. Let's try creating an instance. So if we scroll down over here, we'll be able to see AWS EC2 instance. So this would be the syntax in which the resource would be created. So right now, let's use this syntax. Let's save this. Let's try executing this. So we'll look into what Terraform plan is, what Terraform init is, and what Terraform apply is in detail in our future sessions. This is just to show on what we are creating over here and to show like whether we are able to access this provider using the setup over here. So let's do a Terraform apply. So it would ask whether we need to perform this action, create one resource. We'll just provide yes. So instance would be creating in the Terraform console, sorry, in the provider console. So let's go to the VM instance. We are in US 1. Let's navigate to West 1. The reason is that we have configured US West 2 over here. So we should be ideally navigating to US West 2. All right, so the VM has been initiated. Let's see if this is the VM that we have created. Let's go back to the Terraform console. ID would be 05B. Yep. So the VM has been successfully created. So this is one way of storing the credential, which is this is not recommended, but this would be the easier way. We'll look into how to establish the actual credential setup in Terraform using AWS CLI in our next session.